Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing in Adronis, as Adronis is going to be talking about the substitution technique. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. We will speak relating to the subject that has been shared by this conduit, that is, the substitution technique. And so, as we have spoken briefly, relating to your online broadcast the other day of your time, as well as again in other particular videos of this nature, that the whole idea really is that you are getting into the philosophy of understanding substitution rather than sacrifice. Throughout many of your generations past, there has always been the feeling that humanity has still reached a point where sacrifice was necessary to basically leave an imprint within the collective consciousness. You are basically moving past that old form, that old paradigm as it relates to sacrifice. This is the whole reason why sacrifice happened. The innocents blatantly sacrificed themselves to leave imprints within your unified field of consciousness, so that certain forms of understandings representing the distortion that required the laying down of life would therefore be acknowledged, understood, and surpassed. And so now you are moving past the sacrificial lamb analogy and moving more into the substitution, empowered being analogy. So, whatever this particular aspect of yours that you may feel has been habitual, that you may feel relays an aspect of belief system that no longer serves you, you are attempting to get an understanding firstly about how this particular form of habit or belief system had been propagated into yourself. Should it be for the example of excessive alcoholic drinking, you need to understand the culprit. The culprit to that energy may represent a family member, a family aspect that related to a point of trauma, a trauma caused that, again, through the viewer, believe that it was caused through the father or the mother or brother or sister. And basically the idea of drinking to attempt to numb down a state of tragedy, attempting to numb a particular trauma that took place a great deal of time ago. And so when there is an alleviation to the idea of a cloak that represents the format of a alcoholic drinker, when they are able to discover substitution for that. Substitution can only come together when there is acknowledgement, acceptance, and forgiveness relating to the old paradigm belief system in question. And so when you have discovered through yourself that alcohol has been utilized as a cloak to attempt to numb yourself, to prevent yourself from looking at the tragedy, that is the acknowledgement. The acceptance is being able to understand what the alcohol, or in that sense, the trauma behind the alcohol is attempting to tell you. And basically it is saying, accept what has happened. You no longer need to place all of this harmfulness upon your body. You do not need to intoxicate yourself and damage yourself because you are reluctant to accept the trauma that has taken place. Lower down the defensive shields. Drop the barriers. And accept what has taken place pertaining to that trauma that has happened. And then you are finally able to give yourself permission to accept this. The shields go down. The barrier drops. And you are now able, through perhaps a great deal of tears, to come to terms, to achieve inner peace with the acceptance of what has taken place. Many of you simply have that fear to feel. The fear that if you get in between that energy of what caused the cloak of the alcoholic addiction and the trauma itself, that it may make you weak. On the contrary, the weakness is the neglecting of acceptance, not the accepting of the acceptance. And so, it is all about being able to look into that aspect of accepting that trauma as it was. That it is not about building a time machine and going back into the past and feeling that you need to change something. It is very, very important to understand that if you see yourself as a mistake machine, if you see yourself as a being that is in constant error, you will never be able to reach a salvation with yourself. There can be no peace inwardly made by one who feels that they are an epitome of mistakes, that they are an epitome of errors. And when you are in that particular type of alignment, nothing can ever be acknowledged, accepted, or forgiven, because it is a constant loop. It is a feedback loop. It is a hamster running the wheel, telling you, I can't accept this. I can't acknowledge this. I can't forgive this. All I do is make mistakes. All the people around me make mistakes. Everything in my life is one big, gigantic mistake. And so you are welcome to feel that, but that will continue to perform a feedback loop within your life. And many of you feel that you need to sacrifice yourself, sacrifice your health, sacrifice your well-being by going to alcohol, by going to smoking, by going to drugs, to feel that you need to compensate for the void, to wear a blanket, to put a cloak upon yourself, to numb and neglect the energy that you have solely created based upon how you wish to interpret the event that has seemed traumatic. And you have done this. It is not about placing the fostering of the blame upon anybody else. This was attracted because this is still a situation that you are dealing with. Does not matter if you think that you're a light worker. Does not matter if you feel that you are still in the shadows. It doesn't matter. This is still something that you have personally assigned. And this is still something that you have given yourself permission to neglect, to remain within a state of chaos so that it cannot come clean, so that the idea of personal peace cannot be acclaimed. It is important to look at this, to acknowledge, to accept, to forgive this. And when you have reached that point where you now accept what has taken place, you now accept that trauma that has occurred in your past, and you have been able to cry the tears necessary to allow your body to push out that emotional stagnation, that form of debris. Now you can reach the forgiveness aspect. Now you can forgive everything that contains the elements of that particular trauma. You are able to forgive yourself. You are able to forgive others. You are able to forgive the event itself, telling you that this was only here for you to make peace with yourself, to become humbled relating to the situation. That is how all things are resolved. Through humility, through acceptance, through forgiveness. Being able to bring that epitome of reconnection back to yourself. It is the stagnation that segregates. It is a stagnation that creates divergence. You are attempting to take divergence of trauma and accumulate it back into wholeness of forgiveness. Now that you have reached a state of forgiveness, you still may feel very attracted to the idea of the alcohol because it's something that you have just been drinking for so long. In this particular instance, you need to look into the line, the dimensional line of that which represents yourself, and stating, what is it that I have always been excited about? What is it that I've always been excited to try? What is it that I've always been excited to experience that is of equal or greater value than the alcohol itself? I'm going to take up dancing again because dancing thrills me more than anything. There, you have discovered your substitution to alcohol. So again, rather than the feeling of the physical addiction of alcohol, a positive addiction comes together. And that positive reinforcement now brings that energy back into balance to where no addiction exists, neither on the negative or the positive level. Now it simply is. It is a naturalness to you. So this is basically where we are stating that once you have been able to acknowledge, accept, and forgive that energy that caused that stagnancy, and you still feel an addiction to that particular substance, to create a remedy, whatever it may be. It may also be that I am addicted to smoothies, to fruit juices, to something that is healthy, raw, organic. I enjoy those. Do you feel that that is equal or greater to the addiction to alcohol? Yes. Then that is what you will do. That is what you are creating. You see, it's not always about the idea of feeling that I'm going to keep drinking alcohol and I'm going to tell this to myself that it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. That doesn't really help. Because all you're doing in that sense is realizing that it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, but you're not allowing yourself to look into an alignment of substitution. Equivalent exchange here. So again, rather than saying, oh, I shouldn't drink this, this is bad, or I shouldn't eat this, this is bad, you have no fallback relating to what a substitution is that will allow that transition to take place. Rather, you still feel that you are sacrificing yourself and saying, yeah, I know this is bad, but it's all I can drink. Yeah, I know this is bad, but this is all I can eat because I can't think of anything else to create a substitution. So basically, this is where equivalent exchange is basically saying to you, well, you know that this is bad, but you're still going after this because that's part of the addiction. That's still part of a habitual nature that you may not even realize you're doing until that moment strikes. And now it's something that you do realize that you're doing, and now you're making a choice. Now you're allowing yourself to substitute that energy. So whatever it may be, it may not be alcohol, it may not be drugs, it may be financial abundance, it may be relationship, it may be career, whatever it may be. Look into the idea of feeling that if you are not happy with whatever it is that you are doing, that may be taking up a large majority of your focus within life, look into it. Acknowledge what it is attempting to say to you. Accept what it is attempting to say to you. Forgive everything that it has been. And allow it to come to terms with yourself. Generate a substitution once you have reached that state of forgiveness. I'm doing work that I don't enjoy. Well, if you don't enjoy that work, what is the substitution factor of work that you do enjoy? I would always like to be a yoga teacher. All right. Have you gone ahead and attempt to pursue that? No, not at all. What's stopping you? I'm still feeling addicted to this old career. I don't feel I'm good enough. And so the misalignment here is the trauma of the lack of your own value. And that is what needs to be acknowledged, accepted, and forgiven so that you are motivated enough to move into positive reinforcement through the substitution technique to allow yourself to say, oh yes, yoga is exactly what I want to teach. Yoga is what I want to be trained in, and yoga is what I want to pursue, because that brings me so much joy. Is that equal or greater to that which you are looking to substitute? Yes, it is. It is much greater. Then go for it. Oh, but Adronis, but. And we get that a lot. But what if I'm letting another person down? But what if I'm feeling that if I'm doing this, that another person is going to frown at me or ridicule me or judge me? Then let them do that. Because if you've already shared yourself, if you've already talked about this and felt that this is exactly what you want to do, and that person cannot resonate with that, not your problem. Not your concern. You can always respect their decision, of course, but they are not living your life. They are not in your shoes, as it were. And they are not telling you that this is how you need to live your life. They are not your deity above you. So you need to come to terms and accept that sometimes you may attract people that cannot be in resonance with what you are attempting to do with your life. And it doesn't have to be that. It does not have to be that this is a other person's approval game, and that they say, I shouldn't do this. They say I should go into accounting, but I can't stand accounting. Oh, but it's good money. It pays well. No, I do not like accounting. It's not for me. So I'm not going to move into that industry. I respect the feeling that you are attempting to assist me, but that is not my area. Now, that person may be angered by that particular statement. Not your problem. Again, this is where you're stating that you are looking into what is unique to you. If it was up to everybody else, you would only have one shoe size on this planet. If the shoe fits upon everybody's foot, there need not be any uniqueness. That's not how it works. You all have different shoe sizes. You all have different ambitions. You all have different thoughts and feelings, characteristics, personality traits. That's what makes you unique. So look into the idea of your shoe that fits. Look into what you feel of saying that, well, I'm a size 8 shoe, but this person keeps holding a size 5. Maybe I'll keep trying to fit it on. And now you feel that your foot is in excruciating pain and there is no possible way that this shoe can fit. But now you feel that, well, this person told me to do this. This person told me to put the shoe on. I'm going to pretend like it fits even though I'm in excruciating agony trying to put this on. Doesn't work. The same as if you are attempting to smash a piece of a puzzle, jigsaw version, into the large picture where it does not belong. You can't do it. You need to reevaluate the big picture and discover where that jigsaw piece fits. That's how it works. That is life. As we've stated, you are the creator here. This is your universe. What you say goes. You are the creator. We are not giving that impression on a metaphorical level. We are being very literal here when you say that you are the only one here. We are telling you that is how it is. This is your universe, your creation. You need to decide, should I live a life of sacrifice or should I live a complementary life of substitution? What does not fit, become aware of it. Alter yourself. Forgive yourself. And move into an alignment of what fits for you, not what fits for another person, and you're feeling down and guilty because you're feeling you're letting another person down. Here's the secret. That person is not stepping into your shoes. What they are doing is they are imagining themselves to try on your pair of shoes, and they realize it doesn't fit, they realize it's uncomfortable, and so they're attempting to get you to change the shoe size so it fits for them rather than yourself. That's how it works. That's the idea of insecurity. Because very often, people that are very skeptical and judgmental about yourself are not able to see the type of shoes that you wear when it comes to life. No, it has to be my size. Can't be yours. Your size is too small or too big. These shoes aren't my color. These shoes aren't my brand. I don't like the material. And they are constantly criticizing you because they are trying to put themselves in your shoes. And they can't do it. Does not matter what you do. Jonas, is there any way that I can get to change their mind? No. Accept how they are. Accept that you have done negotiations. Accept that you have shared yourself. But if they have still not shared that particular respect, walk away. Divergence. So that there is now convergence. It is understandable that many of you, again, have family members. Many of you have partners, best friends, who are very critical of yourself, who want you to do well based upon their own personal formula. But it is an abstract universe. Because we hold up an abstract image doesn't mean everybody here is going to see a murder of crows. Some people may see peaks of a mountain. Some people may see clouds in the sky. Some people may see ripples in the water. Who's right? All of you, because that is the nature of the abstract universe. It is important that when you allow yourself to reach a state of substitution, that accelerative change will be met. What we mean by accelerative change is what many of you have termed as miracles. Is that when you finally let yourself surrender and you allow substitution to take place, you will notice that there will be an accelerative of change. Many people refer to this as instantaneous miracles, instantaneous healing, instantaneous manifestation. It is not instantaneous. The whole idea in that sense is that your realization of it, the feeling of the sense of change, is instantaneous. The effect itself is accelerative. There is no such thing really as an instantaneous healing. It's more so in the idea that you are accelerating yourself into that. So something that can take a very short amount of time. But understand that you're existing within a linear reality. And that change itself requires a little bit of transition. May be done within seconds, may be done within minutes, may be done within hours, may be done within days. But nonetheless, there is a time cycle here, as you understand causality. And when you decide to allow that transformation to take place, this accelerative healing, this accelerating miracle, this accelerating degree of transformation has to do with you altering a dimensional line. That is precisely what happens. If you are, for example, injured, and you have worked with yourself, you've understood exactly the nature of the healing that has taken place, that you have been able to remedy anything pertaining to a major injury that is attempting to speak to you, you wake up the next morning, and now that injury is now fully healed. What happened? You shifted from one dimensional line of causality into another one to where that particular form of impairment is non-existent. So it is not so much in the idea that you are, shall we say, changing something to the degree where you feel that one moment it was there, I put all this and I put a stop to it. No. The whole idea is that the transition of your mind while in sleep moves you to different dimensional lines. And so the dimensional line of transition moves from one dimensional line to where that injury is consistent to another dimensional line where that injury is no longer consistent. So what you are doing is you are shifting to different reality dimensional lines. Now, because you are in remembrance that you had an injury there, this is what we call DRM, dimensional residual memory. And so, you swear by the books that there was an injury there. You talk to other people, and maybe they remember it, maybe they don't. Oh, I didn't know you had an injury there. But now you feel that that dimensional residual energy, that dimensional residual memory, now comes together and tells you, something miraculous took place here. But again, through a state of acceleration. And that can be an effect of substitution. You are feeling the substitution together, and what is instantaneously generated is the feeling of that clarity. And of course, everything else pans out. The next morning, you may feel something fantastic. Within a few seconds, you may feel something fantastic. But whatever that may have been, that is all part of a crossover. A crossover from one dimensional line to another dimensional line. So in effect, you are time traveling to another particular dimension where that particular injury is in health. This is how vibration works. You are looking at a bundle of lines. And that when you finally move into that state of realization, the transition of accelerative effect now dances from one dimensional line to another. This is again what you refer to as shifting in that way. And that you have appropriate dimensional residual memory based upon the transition of that old ailment into the new aspect of remedy and clarity that has been brought forward, shifting from one dimensional line to another. So, we would say, congratulations, you are all natural, dimensional time travelers. You're doing this all the time, with different shifts in mood, with different shifts in personality. This is basically what you would refer to as a themed dimensional line. And within this themed dimensional line, as you zoom in, you see a majority of different fabric lines. Now again, this is the thread pertaining to the theme of the earth that you are a part of, and that you can again move into different threads contained within these dimensional line groups. And you end up with the idea of an accelerative state of healing through instantaneous realization. And that is you healing yourself in regards to looking at this mechanically. So we would like to share that all with you. In conclusion, we again recommend with all of you looking into the idea of the way of substitution, looking into the idea of what you feel truly is of equal or greater value pertaining to an old paradigm that no longer serves you, so that you can move into clarity of a substitution that truly serves you and brings you into greater levels of empowerment. I am Adronis of Sirius. Thank you again for the opportunity of this interaction. We now return to the conduit. We'll speak to you again, as now is forever, and all is one. Goodbye. All right, great. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. So, again, feel free to check out realitywhisperer.com, again, for a lot of great sessions, courses, free video, free MP3, meditations, and a lot more. And if you have any questions relating to this video, you can go to the website and feel free to contact me relating to this video or other videos on the channel. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.